Hey everybody, so a couple people have requested that I do a mapping guide, specifically how to sustain maps and then get higher tier map drops into the red maps and whatnot. And I'm going to extend that a little further and show you how to shape your map to run one specific map. The first thing I want to say is map drops at higher tiers are not guaranteed, but it is easily sustainable, and like tier 11s, 12s obviously drop quite a bit. I haven't like bought these, I need to complete that. But it's a lot of people get discouraged when they get to like T9, T10 and they think, oh, T11s aren't dropping, it's never going to happen. Well, it might be because you're not doing things quite right, and there's a few steps that you got to take to increase your odds of everything happening. So the beginner part of this is when you first get to maps, what you should be doing is just trying to complete parts of your atlas, because that'll complete your bonus. Now when you do your bonus, it'll tell you on every map, and it's the same for all whites are all the same, all yellows are all the same, all reds are all the same. The bonus for whites is to kill the boss of a magic map or higher, and what that means is a map that is at least, let's see if I can find one good example here, at least blue named, blue quality. And when you defeat the boss of that, it'll give you the bonus, and what the bonus does is for each bonus you have, it'll give you 1% more chance for when a map drops for it to be one tier higher. So if it would have been a tier 1, it'll be a tier 2 if that chance hits. Now once you hit 100% chance, after that, any bonus past that will give you a 1% increasing chance per bonus to drop 2 tiers higher, and that's when it really starts to pick up. But you don't need to get that high. Once you get to 60, 70 at most, you'll really start to notice the maps dropping a lot better. And so as you first begin, you want to complete all white maps that you can find. Honestly, when you first start and you're like, it's the very beginning of the league, you do want to be alching maps using your alchemy orbs on them, but at the beginning, transmutations will get you the first few maps that you need. It's really not that bad for the beginning white maps, but once you hit yellows or even like tier 5 whites, you really want to be alching every map, and once you can afford it, you want to alch every single map that you're doing, because the way map drops work is, like, say I have item quantity on my biscuits, right? 50% increased item quantity, or quantity of items dropped. That does not affect map drops. The only quantity that affects map drops is the quantity stated on the map you're currently running, which can be increased by qualitying the map, it can be increased by mods on the map, and it can also be increased by using sacrifice fragments alongside the map. See, if you can go in here and you put the sac fragment in it with the map when you run it, it'll give you, like, I think it's 5% more per sac fragment that you get, and you can put 3 different ones. I don't recommend using midnights, and that will give you more quantity. Now, these will give you, I think, 10% more quantity. I wouldn't recommend that unless you're actually just rich as hell. So that's up to you, your decision, your discretion there. But I don't recommend using the mortal grease. But anyway, so you should be alching all yellow maps all the time, for sure. When you're trying to get plus map drops, never run a blue map. I mean, if it drops blue unidentified, I wouldn't, like, identify it, scour it, alch it again. No, just run that one. That's fine. That's not really a huge loss. Unidentified maps actually give you, I think, 20% more quantity, or it's 20% or 30%. I'm not sure, but they do give you a good chunk more quantity. And once you get to red maps, you really should be chiseling every map. Now, don't chisel it when it's already got stuff on it, because this goes for any other quantity. A white item will only take 4 chisels because it gives you 5% per. A blue item will give you 2% per, taking 10 chisels, and a yellow or unique will give you 1% per, taking 20 chisels. Now obviously that's not efficient or effective with your money, so you don't want to be doing that. Let's see, once you get to T14s, 15s plus, like you're doing 16s, you really want to be using sacrifice fragments to increase your map drops there. So again, just to reiterate, the basic guidelines is white maps you want to be bluing in the beginning of the league, but alching whenever you can. And if you're on trade league, don't be scared to buy alchs. They're not that expensive. Yellow maps, always alchemy. Always do it. Just that's really going to help significantly. And then red maps you want to chisel for, in my opinion, 11 through 13 probably, maybe even just 14, and then use chisel and use sacrifice fragments and elk, 15 to 16. The other thing is with red maps you have to corrupt a rare version of it, and corruption has a chance to do one really bad thing, which is to up tier it. So it'll, like, say I corrupt a plaza, it could take it to a sunken city. Now maybe I already have sunken city done, which is a bad example because it's the opposite, but that would mean that I no longer have the plaza to run. So what you want to do is try to, like, just complete the map first, don't corrupt it, and that'll give it, that'll put it in your pool of maps to be dropped. And just to clarify as well, the only way that you get different map drops is either it's connected on the atlas, like say I'm running a dungeon and I don't have any tier 2s complete, right? The only tier 2 that can drop is the flooded mine because it's connected. Now once I complete this, not the bonus, just complete the map, which is considered killing the boss, then a tier 2 can drop during any point a tier 2 can drop, which is running a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, something around that area. So with red maps you want to complete them first if you only have one, because you don't want to risk losing it. They get kind of expensive, like, you know. Let's see here, while I'm on the expensive part, let's see this, oh nope, I had it right here, damn it, there it is. I was trying to look at this Basilica. The Basilica map, it's a little bit into the league. These are 12 chaos-ish, 11 chaos-ish. Day like 3 when I was doing these, they were maybe 4. They were like 20 to 25 chaos each because everybody's trying to complete their atlas at the time. So next thing I wanted to explain is how to actually shape your atlas to run one specific map. Now you see I have a lot of burial chambers. I have more than that. I have this filled up, and I overflowed it into this because I don't have enough room for all these burial chambers. Now everybody and their mom is running burial chambers, and there's a reason for that, and that's it's extremely effective at giving doctors. I haven't gotten one yet, but I've only been doing this for a day. But the way you want to shape your map to give you one specific map on map drops is you want to roughly get at least 70 bonus. That's when it's best, in my opinion, when it's most noticeable that you're getting your map drops. And you want to pick a map, and the way you want to pick a map is what divination card do you want to find. Now most people farm the doctor because they're about 7 exalts each. If you don't know the doctor card, and I can't show you one because I don't have one yet, but it is a 1 in 8 set of cards that gives you a headhunter. And headhunter is the most valuable, unique pretty much in the game. Might be something more, but I don't think there is. But anyway, you want to pick based on a divination card, and the choice that you make on your card is up to you. Like some people farm where is it? Arcade. It's right here. Arcade, because it's also a tier 3, which burial chambers is as well, and it gives you the Saint's Treasure card, which is a 1 in 10, gives 2 exalts when you have the set. So those are pretty valuable, and those are a lot more common than doctors. I did a video last season where I farmed 100 of them and got 5 cards. So that's 1 exalt and 100 maps. Not great, not the worst. So, you know, kind of at your own discretion choose what map you're going to farm, but basically this is what you do. You say, okay, we're going to use burial chambers as the example because that's what I have it set up for right now. Burial chambers is a tier 3. So what you want to do is you want to uncomplete all other tier 3 maps. And the way you uncomplete a map is you go and you take 3 white sextants. I don't have 3 white, so I'll just use 3 yellows. I need to buy more sextants. And 1 scour. And you sell them. Now pretend this is white. And you'll get an apprentice's cartographer's seal. And you want to scour, or use a scour and a journeyman's sextant, and what you get is this thing back, is a seal. And what that does is you go on your atlas and you would right click it and use it on whatever map you want to uncomplete. I'm not actually going to use it. Oh hey, I have one right here. Cool. So you do that and it will uncomplete the map, meaning you lose the bonus, you lose the completion, but what that most importantly means is you cannot get that map drop in anything that's not connected to it anymore. So since this is a tier 3 way over here, it's not connected to burial chambers, that map won't drop over here. Now you want to do that for all tier 3s and tier 4s. Yeah, and this goes for any any map you want to farm. If you want to farm a tier 6, you would uncomplete all tier 6s and tier 7s. You want to do the one you're on and the one above, because the bonus is trying to give you more higher map drops. And then the other thing you want to do is there's always at least one, usually just one, connected to it that it can drop a tier 4. If you shape that map, it will no longer drop the tier 4 version, meaning that this can't drop, because this is tier 9 now. So once you have that done, you have all of your tier 3s and 4s removed, and then you have whatever one connected to it shaped up. It cannot it cannot drop anymore. So now when I run through a map, all I get are burial chambers. Sometimes you get a tier 1 and tier 2, but that's where your bonus comes in, is that heavily prevents that from happening. And so basically, just to clarify in case this was confusing, if a tier 3 or tier 4 map would drop, the game says you can't get any map but burial chambers and converts it into a burial chambers. Is basically how that works. And the other thing that I want to point out, if you don't know how to, like say you've already shaped a tier 4 and you don't know how to undo it, you take 5 regrets, 20 chisels. It's kind of expensive, yeah, but you get this unshaping orb, and then you go to the map, you use it on the map, you get, boom, it's unshaped. Then you go back to Zana, take your Shaper's Orb, which I need to really get around to that better, and then now you got your Shaper's Orb back, and then you reshape the one you want. So if you had shaped something else, you can now unshape it and then reshape it. Reshape the new one, rather. I think that's basically it for the mapping guide. I don't know if there's anything I forgot. If anyone has any questions, let me know in the comments below, or you can tweet me at CasualRyanGaming. Besides that, I have a rare item pricing guide, which was formally requested on one of my previous videos, that is going to be coming out probably like 2 or 3 days at most. I know I'm a little slow, but I work a full-time job, so it's kind of hard to get around to making videos all the time. So thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you want to see our 3.4 rare item pricing guide. Alright, thanks. Hey, real quick, one last thing I forgot to show. Zana is actually really good for getting maps in the very beginning of the league, because every day she sells different maps. Now, they're only up to like T9s, I think, maybe higher if you get her to 8 or something, but you want to buy these all the time. They just cost like chance orbs, alchemy orbs, wisdom scrolls, whatnot. But she resets her inventory every time she levels up, and every time you do a daily. So there's kind of a rule of thumb, which is try not to level her up on a daily because you're missing an inventory reset. Try to save your daily until you run into her in a map, and then do that. She'll level up, buy the maps, run the daily, buy the maps again, etc. So I just wanted to throw that in there. And then also, if you're like, oh, I can't, I have 400 burial chambers, I need something past that. Every map you can turn 3 into for one of a tier higher, and there's a specific map that every one of them turns into, so go check the wiki if you're not sure, and it will tell you, like, just type in like what map you need or what map you have, and then go to that page and it'll tell you what recipe it'll make, or what recipe will make it. If you're like, say I want relic chambers, it'll tell you, hey, burial chambers. So that's it. I forgot to add that at the end. Alright.